The contractor showed up today. At least they're done sawing. So this is the sneak peek for the new Soul Matters summer program called Magic Summer. And just like church, I want to just do a few announcements. If you are short or you don't have anything to do in June, say you're not a Soul Matters person, we do have individual packets for sale. So for instance, you could buy May 2020, and that's the theme of Threshold. And you could do welcoming, doors of welcoming for imagination, for shelter, just in case. And that's my plan B for you all. If we have a variant that comes around, and guess what? We have to pivot to online this summer. We can't celebrate in person. Use those individual packets to create a summer program. Please, 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 to all the powers that be in the spirit of life, we don't have to do that. But I like to have a plan B. Also, for instance, if something happens in September and you have to have a soft opening, you could use individual packets from those online years, the 100% online things. The second announcement is April, right there in front of us, is writing a coming of age curriculum for Soul Matters. We'll have more about that in a month or two, but we're very excited about that. Also, the themes for next year, the final survey will go out to us all, and that's the survey where we ask you what your preferences are for your themes. And we should be able to announce it, depending on how quickly we get those surveys back, by the end of our first week of May, maybe the end of the month. So, jumping right in. Why do I call this easy? It's because I started this project when Sarah Sauter asked, isn't there something, I'm so crispy, I just can't pivot to anything else. And I had started writing this before COVID, right there in that spring before COVID. And I had to table it because Soul Matters pivoted to 100% online for the pandemic. So some of this draft was already sitting there, 8 sessions for a summer program. And when I realized that we're looking at celebrating in-person RE, we're looking at crispy fried DREs. Oh, and I better admit some people, they're like, bah! There we go. Crispy fried DREs who've been pivoting, coming to online, then doing multi-platform, then the board retracts the possibility of going into the summer. We just don't know where we're coming from. So now we're trying to say, let's do a celebration of in-person. And it was Sarah Sauter who posted in the RE Facebook page for Soul Matters. Oh my gosh, now my board is saying, I have to come up with this fantastic program because everyone's going to want to be drawn back in. So we've got 3 years of exhaustion behind us, don't we? And maybe this isn't the time to create some fantastic thing. No, it's the time to celebrate in person. And maybe you saw that wonderful post in UU Religious Educators Facebook yesterday that said, we just want to play. We just want to be together. We want to just enjoy things. So I looked at that curriculum I wrote back then, and I said, this is perfect. And I added a magic component to it, and I think you'll find it good. So it's enticing. It's chocolate. There's a session on fair trade chocolate. There's a session that I suggest you bring animals in. Man, any Easter service I ever did when we had bunnies and ducks and things, animals and children, that's a gimme. We have obstacle courses out on the playground. We have a little thing to do for grandparents, and you know how much children love grandparents. We have a picnic under a tree. We have these wonderful summer things that we want to have fun with. Each session is just 2 to 3 pages, so you can give them to a volunteer. When I did this, I did a sort of similar thing for one of the fellowships I was with. I was being an interim DRE for a spring. And they're like, what are we doing this summer? So we put up this poster and we said, sign up for one of these 8 Sundays. And we had the sheets pinned up. You could actually pull them down and look at it. And people were like, oh, I can do that. No problem, I can do that. That's what we want, right? I don't have storybooks in this because hunting for storybooks is one of the things volunteers get really tired of. They spend 3 hours at the library and they can't find the book. Now, there are a few books suggested in session 6 and session 9 if you want to use them, but let's not do that. And no complicated crafts. I promised somebody that we aren't going to need the one color of purple gel pen that you have to go out and hunt for hours. It's easy to find stuff for the most part. Here's what you get with Magic Summer. You get 8 sessions. But there is a 9th session. But I promise the 9th session is the mini care packages for the homeless. That's one of the service projects. And you do have to collect stuff, so I'm saying it's 8 sessions with an optional 9th. It's multi-age, and so I can see using this from preschool to about 5th or 6th grade with youth helpers. Pretty easy. Because all of these service projects are things that I think youth, which I mean the middle school and high school kids, would enjoy doing too. And in fact, the Fair Trade Chocolate session was actually taught by a 15-year-old, and she came to me and said, could I offer a lesson like this? So it's pretty exciting for them too. It's going to come to you in Word and PDF so that you can either give your volunteers the exact printout that looks really pretty in that good format, or you can do it in Word and you can mishmash your own stuff in there, your own chalice lighting words, and they can print it out themselves. As always, the Word doc gets a little wonky because everyone's default Word doc margins and things are different, so we can't control that. That's why it comes out a little wonky. If you want the easy to control margins, do it. Oh, and I better invite this person. Poor person's been waiting and let me in. What did I say? Oh yeah, the Word doc will give you the better margins. All right, so each session has in it, there's somebody else. Each session has in it a list of supplies. Man, I'm a DRE 35 years. That's what I need. I'm going to give it to you. A chalice lighting with words, or you can use your own. The Wonder Box. So here's a package of seeds. We're going to make seed balls. What does this mean? How does this connect to being of service to others? Then you go into my 3 magic S's, sort of my pedagogy after 35 years. Mindfulness, which is the first. Silence, which is mindfulness. Service to others. And sunshine or movement. Silence, service, and sunshine. And of course, in Katie Covey's world, there's always a 4th hidden S, which is silliness. I want our children to be silly and to laugh together. That's like my number one thing. Then there's a little set of words as a closing script. All right, that's why it's easy. And nobody else is in the waiting room. So I wanted to do a couple of things. I wanted to do play and fun and community. And when I asked the kids, why do you come to church? And you know what they say universally? To make friends and have fun. That's what they want to do, to make friends and have fun. And what do we say? Oh, well, it's to learn about this and that and this and that. No, let's go right to where the children are this summer, okay? Because there's a way to translate that into yours and my language. My idea for making friends, when the children say making friends, that's that traditional soul matters, making connections to our inner life, to our wider community, and to the gift of life itself. That's the most basic thing. We are celebrating in Unitarian Universalism is communities. We believe if you do crossing paths, you use, say, continuity is the sin of the world, and connection is the problem, is the solution. And so making friends that the kids say really isn't that much different from making those connections. The three magic S's. So that's what I say when people say, well, what am I supposed to do? I say, don't do social studies. We don't need social studies. That's what they taught me back in UU Sunday School in 6th grade, Man the Meaning Maker. And it was a social studies program. There was no difference between that and school. The difference in bringing children in this summer and saying, let's be a part of this, is that we want them to experience silence together. And don't worry, I'm not going to make them be silent like we adults are. I have wiggles, and we'll go into that in a minute. We want to do service to others. Do you know what the best remedy for this pandemic isolation and worry is? Is to help other people. And that's each of those sessions. In some way, you're going to help other people. That's service. And sunshine, my heavens, it's summer. And we need sunshine and nature around us. We don't want to be the last child in the woods, that famous book. We want to have movement and physicality of summer. And don't worry, I put indoor variations too, because what if the weather's bad, or what if you live in Albuquerque like Mia, or Fresno like Sam, and it's 106 degrees out. We understand. It's not just our geography. So there are indoor options too. Okay, enough of the pedagogy. Big words. Enough of that. I want to dive in to Magic Summer and share my excitement with you. Here we go. And I'm going to share the screen, because what I imagine this to be is just like you were standing next to me and you wanted to flip through the actual curriculum. That's what you're seeing. This is the actual PDF version of Magic Summer 2022. Here's your 8,9/9 table of contents. Making seed balls. Those are those fun little balls to throw around with wildflower seeds in them. Explore water justice. Do some water carrying. Create book notes. A super, super simple thing to get them putting a little note in your library books. Stir up treats for the Humane Society. Cards of encouragement for the elders and their grandparents. Beautify Mother Earth. Do a little grounds cleanup. Taste fair trade chocolates. Stay centered. In other words, help yourself so you can help others. And then that 9th one, mini care packages for the homeless. That was sort of what I just did, so I'm going to squeeze through that. So make seed balls. For make seed balls, you can see what we do. There's your supply list. And then we have the chalice lighting, the wonder box, and here's the seed meditation. It's a beautiful bean growing up to a waltz. It only is 3 minutes. And then take a blanket and ask them to cover themselves like they are a seed, and that's your silence mindfulness. Then there's the instructions for making the seed ball. Then there's sunshine and movement. So now that you've made seed balls, now play indoor with balls or outdoor with balls, and there's some fun little games. Hey, play catch, play kickball or soccer. And there's your closing words. And so you're inviting your volunteers or your staff person to say, may we spread our love, and then the children repeat it. Like seed balls, repeat. And watch love, repeat, grow all around us. Very simple. So nobody has to get all nervous about doing that. Water justice. since we can't actually do the, let's raise some money to donate to such and such, what we do is get a little education about it. I'm going to skip through here. You can see there's really neat cup of water meditation. And then you get a little education about the Water for Sudan program, the Iron Giraffe program. Great little video to show about how they're making a well. And then this is an idea from a wonderful former nun who joined our congregation. She created an obstacle course around the playground and invited the children to carry, here's a bucket like this, half full of water around so that they could feel what it was like for the weight of carrying water, and that she made a little obstacle course with 2x4s. So I'm inviting the kids to do that for the water justice. All right, then create book notes. This is a super simple one. Here's my book I'm using as an example. So, a book of in the congregational library, people probably walk by that and never look at it. But the kids make a little book note. It says, what does it say? I hope you love this book. As simple as that. And you stick it in and you put it in the library, and then as people go and open that book up, they find it. Very simple. And then you go out and do little word games. So pretty simple. Then, of course, now here's the animal one. And the curriculum writer in me said, oh my gosh, Henry Berg, the founder of the ASPCA, was a Unitarian. I'm like, nope, this is simple, Katie, simple. Keep it simple. So didn't even mention that Henry Berg was the founder of the Humane Society. You can even do it with pre-made treats. I mean, talk about easy. Go out and buy some treats, make a gorp out of them, put them in a baggie. But of course, I did put in a couple of different ways of making homemade dog treats, because it depends on the volunteer or the staff person who's going to do that, what they would enjoy. Then there's some animal games. Then we do cards of encouragement for elders. I'm going to sort of skip through some of this. Beautify Mother Earth, kindness meditation, yada, yada, yada. Take a nature walk with the children if you've got a nearby park or nice grounds. Or just play follow the leader or hide and seek. All right, session 7 is the one that's posted on the website as the sample session. This is the one that the 15-year-old came to me and said she wanted to do something about fair trade chocolate. What a wonderful thing to do. So there's a chocolate meditation, there's a thing about what's fair trade, there's a lovely, and then we do, since this involves agriculture, we do Farmer in the Dell. Da, 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 da. And there's a really cute video on how to play a great game of Farmer in the Dell with elementary school children. Okay, then we invite them to stay centered. The mirror is the wonder box. Make a poster for their room, something really simple. And then we get to, there's the words for the posters, it's a little meditation. Then we get to the care package one. You see, all these things are from a wonderful HuffPost article about what homeless people suggest. So in mine, I have a bottle of water. This is the one I give out to the fellows on the corner near my grocery store. And what the HuffPost article mentions that's so important is if you put highly perfumed soaps in there, it's going to make all the crackers taste like perfume. So they said, hey guys, we'd rather have the crackers, keep the perfumed soap to yourselves. So that's making care packages. If you choose that 9th session, it's an awfully engaging activity. I've done it about 3 times now, and the kids love it. Okay. Ding, ding. There we are. So I invite you now, in our last 9 minutes, to ask me any questions that I might not have answered. Um, you can unmute, raise your hand, unmute yourself, and we'll see if there are any questions. And I think everyone's visible to me, so there you go. What are you wondering about Magic Summer? And there's my pounding accompaniment. Oh well. Any questions? There's one, Karen.
So we're not in a position to meet in person this summer. It seems like some of those I could adapt to just being online.
Yes, I would say yes. We're getting creative at adopting things online. So you'd have to figure out a way to like have parents provide the fair trade chocolate,
Mm.
or the seed ball mix, or let me just see what other things you could do. Cards of encouragement would be easy. The book notes would be easy. The dog treats would be easy, except getting them to the Humane Society might be a little tricky. And water justice, that would be interesting to adopt to online, because you can see the videos all together and then have them carry stuff in the room. So you're right, it's possible. Yes. I didn't say how much it was. But if you go to the webpage, you can see it's $40, which comes out to be about $5 per session. And if you think about not having to be fried to come up with your own thing, I think that's a good value. Any other questions about this specifically? Well, I'm very happy. Maybe Karen's got another question, or just didn't take down your. Yeah, that's all right. I always forget to do that too. I'm going to stay on for another little bit of time, 30 minutes, to talk about Soul Matter stuff and summing up the year. And you're welcome to do that. I'm not going to record it. And otherwise, with no more questions, we are done with the sneak peek, and I'm going to stop recording.